From viral twin brothers starting OnlyFans together for income, to a rapper who tried to convince the world he cloned himself.
My first gen was born in Jersey. However, I was cloned by Clonade in Canada. My model number is 0112568 if anyone wants to see the registration in Clonade.
Okay.
Over the last 6 years or so, in this internet-fueled era of rap, we've seen tons of meme rappers get our attention, only to disappear just as quickly. So why does this keep happening? Why can't they keep the momentum going? That's what we're here to figure out today. First up, we gotta talk about the rise and fall of the Island Boys. This is a story that we can't even be surprised about. In fact, their downfall was pretty satisfying. The twins born, Frankie and Alex Venus, the brothers behind the viral sensation, grew up in Palm Beach, Florida, and were heavily influenced by Kodak Black. After getting out of jail, they decided to lock in and make their rap dreams a reality, taking on the names Fly Soldier and Kodiak Red. In 2019, they dropped their first track, Play With Me, on SoundCloud. They spent the next couple of years grinding on social media, YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, literally anywhere and everywhere. But it was TikTok that truly put them on the map. Then, in late 2021, the Island Boys blew up with a freestyle that became instantly recognizable.
I'm an island boy, and I've been trying to make. Oh, I'm an island boy. Hey, I'm just island boy.
The video went viral, not because they were skilled rappers, but because of their strangely unique look. Crazy dreads, tattoos, and plus there were two of them. The internet quickly turned them into a meme, and suddenly everyone knew who they were. Despite the fact that most people weren't taking their music seriously, the Island Boys leaned into the hype, running up millions of followers on TikTok and tens of thousands of subscribers on YouTube in the process. At one point, they were reportedly pulling in $80,000 from their YouTube channel alone. It looked like the Island Boys were set to ride that wave of success for a while, but their fame was built on rocky ground. They struggled to keep fans engaged because their initial viral moment was more of a joke than anything else. Instead of capitalizing on their buzz, they made the mistake of delaying the release of the full song and its music video. And by the time it all dropped, people had already moved on. Their attempts to perform live didn't go much better. Audiences were pretty much silent. As their popularity started to fade, the Island Boys made a bunch of bad decisions that only made things worse. They turned down a record deal from Kodak Black, hoping to stay independent. But that choice backfired big time. They missed out on the chance to get real guidance from someone who could have helped steer their careers in the right direction. Instead of being smart with their money, they blew it on flashy cars, chains, and other expensive stuff. Social media moves fast, and soon enough the Island Boys were being left behind. Things really started to unravel when Kodiak Red got arrested for domestic abuse.
Oh my dad, you profiling me. I want to talk to you. But I don't care, bro, you profiling me.
And they got into public beefs with Snoop Dogg, Blueface, and Logan Paul. Their fame was slipping away, and this is where they made a desperate and disgusting move to stay relevant. So, in July 2023, the Island Boys shocked everyone by announcing they were launching an OnlyFans account with explicit content. It brought them some quick cash, but it didn't reignite the viral fame they were chasing. They took things even further by posting a tweet of them kissing each other, which blew up online. But, of course, not in a good way. People were disgusted, and even DJ Scheme, a Florida producer, disowned them. But the Island Boys seemed to thrive on the backlash. This formula clearly worked for them, and it was only right to double down with more controversial content. They even got into a fight with FuziTube on a live stream, and one of them exposed himself on Aiden Ross's stream. It became obvious that they were relying on shock value to stay in the spotlight. But even with all the chaos, they couldn't escape the fact that their antics were driving them further into obscurity. They eventually started denying the weird stuff they did, which made it clear they were uncomfortable with how things had turned out. Fast forward to today, and the Island Boys have pretty much faded from the scene. One of them got arrested again earlier this year, but no one really cared. Their music isn't doing much on Spotify, and while their YouTube channel and TikTok is still alive, it's nowhere near what it could have been. They're a perfect example of how chasing fame at any cost can backfire in a big way. If they want to make any sort of comeback, they're going to have to stop the desperate stunts and focus on their music. But honestly, no one really wants that anyways. Their story shows that while it's easy to blow up overnight, staying relevant requires a lot more than just going viral. But if you thought the story of Island Boys was bad, just wait till you hear about Kid Buu. So Kid Buu is from New Jersey, born in 1988. Growing up, he was a bit of a nerd, kind of socially awkward, and really into anime. Later on, he became obsessed with UFOs and aliens, so much so that he joined this out there religion called Raelianism. They believe aliens created humans and that Jesus, Buddha, Muhammad were actually alien hybrids. Kid Buu was fully committed to this stuff, and yes, it's a real religion with actual followers, basically a cult. This religion also spawned something called Clonade. The idea for Clonade came about in 1997 after scientists successfully cloned a sheep named Dolly. So naturally, people started thinking about cloning humans. Clonade's goal was to offer clones to couples who couldn't have kids, with the promise that these clones might be immortal. But seriously, Clonaid actually claimed to create human clones and ended up scamming millions from desperate couples trying to bring back their dead kids. But the whole thing was never proven. No DNA samples, no documentation, nothing. It seems like a total scam, preying on people's grief. It's both incredible and disgusting. And it was actually this ideology that later influenced Kid Buu to become a meme out of this. Clonaid pretty much vanished by 2005, and the old website now looks like something out of a bad sci-fi movie. But Kid Buu brought it back into the spotlight, and we'll get to that more in a minute. So Kid Buu became a dad in 2006 when he was just 17. Fast forward to 2008, and we've got this mugshot. He was 19, and according to TMZ, his underage girlfriend, yes, that's right, underage, tried to cash a check. He grabbed it from her, she ran into her apartment, he followed, punched her, pulled out a gun, and threatened to kill any cops that showed up. Oh, and to make things even worse, their 2-year-old daughter was there for the whole thing. He ended up getting charged with child abuse and after serving time. Then about a year later, there's a video of him freestyling in 2010, and apparently he made money selling toys online. But he wanted to erase his past, hang with a younger crowd, and make people think he was younger than he actually was. So he deleted his old social media, cut off childhood friends, and moved to Toronto, possibly to dodge child support. And that's when he decided to become a rapper, first going by the name Humongous the God. His strategy was basically copying other successful rappers. In one song, Eastside, he tries to sound like Travis Scott, and then in another, Canada Day, he's channeling his inner Tory Lanez. He even got a song with the Migos, probably dropping at least $50K on a video that barely made $300 in AdSense. Honestly, being a rapper and paying for features seems like a terrible investment, especially when your videos aren't getting views or got a fan base. He just kept trying different things, hoping something would stick, but it only made him seem more inauthentic. He even paid for an interview on a Toronto radio station, where he claimed to be from Dade County, even though he's from New Jersey, and admitted he didn't grow up on hip-hop, he just thought it was an easy come-up. But the best part is when, during the interview, they played one of his songs and you could just feel the awkwardness in the room. No one was into it, and the interviewer even liked all the comments trashing him afterwards. The interview didn't help, so a few months later he threw a random album release party, paying a bunch of models to dance around him. The whole thing just looked awkward. No one seemed like they were having a good time. At this point, he realized his approach wasn't working. With only about 7,000 followers on SoundCloud, he decided to ultimately rebrand himself as Kid Buu. He ditched the grown man image, dyed his hair, and started doing these lame Instagram stunts trying to copy Lil Pump. By early 2018, he had over 100,000 Instagram followers, though 70% of them were from India, which led people to think they were fake. By April 2018, he started gaining a real following thanks to his dumb viral videos. In June, he released Dead Roses, which, like his other tracks, stole its melody from a popular song. The music video looked like a Lil Pump knockoff, but it managed to get a few million views within a few months. This kind of worked for him because from the outside, it was hard to tell his followers were fake since they were mixed with real ones. Then came his viral Vlad TV interview clip. It was all over Facebook and Instagram, and for a minute, I actually thought he was a legit rapper with a big audience. The whole cloning thing became a meme, and he even brought up Clonaid again.
My first gen was born in Jersey. However, I was cloned by Clonaid in Canada. My model number is 0112568, if anyone wants to see the registration in Clonaid.
Okay.
That interview now sits on over 3 million views, but after going viral, his 18-year-old ex-girlfriend made a 40-minute video about their relationship, describing him as abusive, possessive, and controlling. She also confirmed that he made no money from his music and was just pouring money into it to fake a certain lifestyle. Adam, 22 from No Jumper, exposed Kid Buu's desperation to get on the show by trying to befriend people like Boonk Gang and Trippie Redd. Adam even mentioned that Kid Buu planned to put a tracking device under his car and ask gang members to jump him. By the summer of 2018, Kid Buu had a moment where people were actually talking about him. But by September, he became a joke. It wasn't just Adam, 22. Creators like Blackie Speaks, Rice Gum, and Academics were all roasting him. His child abuse charges resurfaced, and people noticed he got a nose job, further showing just how deeply insecure he was. Then, in October, he dropped another music video on World Star, along with a viral video where he used a basic editing trick to make it look like he was hanging out with his supposed clone. It got people's attention, but that was one of the last times he went viral. In 2019, he didn't release any videos on World Star. He tried to start beef with Trippie Redd, claiming his song was stolen, but no one bought it. He paid Black China $50K to pretend to be his girlfriend, only for them to end up in a fight where he choked her and threw her against the wall, a move that seemed more like a publicity stunt. Ultimately, Kid Buu's peak was with his Vlad interview, but ever since then, he's been pretty much irrelevant. He still uploads to YouTube, but it's been over 2 years since he's had a video with over 1 million views. Even recent uploads barely crack over 1,000 views. Will he ever be relevant again? Probably not. He had a brief moment in the spotlight, but it was all built on lies and gimmicks. Kid Buu's story is a special case. You can spend a ton of money on features and promotions, steal other people's styles, and come up with a ridiculous gimmick. But at the end of the day, you might just end up being forever labeled a meme rapper and a feature on the Real Spill channel. From lying about his age to dating underage girls. Honestly, I think he lied about his age to relive his younger years. And there's probably some deep-rooted anger and insecurity that we don't know about. Maybe he was abused as a kid, maybe he wasn't popular growing up, who really knows. Whatever the case, it's clear Kid Buu is dealing with some issues, and it's sad to see someone so desperate for fame. Kid Buu's case was just strange, but the whole Smokepurpp situation can only be described as shockingly embarrassing. So once a name everyone knew in the rap game, working with big artists like Travis Scott, Chief Keef and the late X, and his close friend Lil Pump. In fact, he even wrote I Love It for Pump and Kanye West. Smokepurpp was on the rise in hip hop until he wasn't. After his 2017 SoundCloud hit Audi, things started going downhill. His albums were flopping hard with only 5k first week sales, and he got roasted all over social media for delivering one of the worst freestyles ever.
Lil Purpp really go, Lil Purpp really go,
Then in April 2022, he went viral again, but not in a good way. A clip of him performing in Michigan to a crowd of just 10 people blew up online. So how does someone who worked with Kanye and Travis Scott fall off so fast? Well, some people might say Smokepurpp never had much potential to begin with. Even I was surprised that he managed to blow up. But he started out making beats in high school, but began rapping over them himself when nobody wanted to buy them. His first song on SoundCloud in 2015 was so bad that he deleted it right away. His next attempt, Live Off a Lick, featured X and was the start of his friendship with Lil Pump. While neither of them really remembers how they met, it was Smokepurpp who encouraged Pump to try rapping. Together they dropped tracks like Broke My Wrist and Smoke My Dope, quickly blowing up in the SoundCloud scene with their self-proclaimed ignorant but catchy style and wild, reckless behavior. In March 2017, Smokepurpp signed his first record deal with Alamo and Interscope Records. With tracks like Ski Mask and Glock in My Benz, he was gaining popularity fast. Then his debut commercial single Audi dropped and it was a wrap. Todd Moskowitz, which I hope I'm pronouncing right, from Alamo signed him after hearing just a preview of the tracks. A perfect example of how a major record label purposely pushed whack rappers into the mainstream in 2017, simply because it was the trend back then. And to be honest, it pretty much still applies to some rappers today. Audi became a SoundCloud classic and is still his biggest solo hit to date. His debut mixtape, Dead Star, featuring Travis Scott, Chief Keef, Juicy J, and Lil Pump, hit number 42 on the Billboard 200, marking his first chart success. There were even rumors that Smokepurpp had signed with Travis Scott's Cactus Jack Records after he was seen with the Cactus Jack chain and hanging with the crew. But it turned out he was never officially signed. It was more of a close-knit crew thing. Despite that, Smokepurpp kept things rolling into 2018, getting named in Double XL Freshman, dropping a collab mixtape Bless Yo Trap with Murder Beats, and writing I Love It for Pump and Kanye. But we soon came to realize this was the peak of his career. Around this time, his wild antics started to overshadow his music, and he became a bit of a joke in the SoundCloud rap scene. It kicked off in April 2018 when J. Cole dropped his album KOD and seemed to take shots at rappers like Lil Pump on the track 1985. Smokepurpp responded by leading a Fuck J. Cole chant at one of his shows.
J. Cole, fuck J. Cole, fuck J. Cole, fuck J. Cole, fuck J. Cole.
He also got into it with Russ after mocking Russ's anti-drug stance, even making Russ's sister his Instagram profile pic. This was bad for Purpp, leading to Russ's crew allegedly jumping Smokepurpp at a festival, and L Smokepurpp still holds today. Then things got worse in 2019 when Smokepurpp's infamous Tim Westwood freestyle went viral for all the wrong reasons. He freestyled terribly over classic beats for 40 minutes and later blamed the disaster on taking too many edibles beforehand. Despite claiming it was just for fun, that freestyle became a defining moment in his downfall. It stands as one of the worst freestyles in hip-hop history. Smokepurpp dropped his debut studio album Dead Star 2 in December 2019, with big names like Trippie Redd and Denzel Curry featured, but it only peaked at number 137 on the Billboard 200. Even with a leaked Kanye West feature, the album flopped. His next album, Florida Jit, released in 2020, sold just 5k in the first week, leading to more roasting online. As his wave faded, so did his fan base. By 2022, he was performing to nearly empty venues, even though he had millions of followers on social media. At this point, it seems like Smokepurpp's career has hit a serious low, with little sign of a comeback. Though his music has actually gotten slightly better over the years, his reputation is pretty much trashed. While TikTok might give him a shot at redemption, it's hard to say if he can ever really make a comeback. Some fans might still be rooting for him, but for many, Smokepurpp's career feels like it's already over. Clearly, social media can take someone from zero to viral in no time, but just as quickly, things can cool off. But at the end of the day, we can't be surprised. The music game is unpredictable and staying relevant is tough, especially when your whole persona is based off being a meme. It's hard to say whether these rappers were intentionally trying to be memes or perhaps they just realized it was the only way to get a good buzz at the time. Either way, like with all jokes, once it stops being funny, no one's paying attention anymore. With all the obscurity, weird behaviors, and lack of dignity, the rappers here deserve their downfall and should be a lesson that shock value only gets you so far, and probably nowhere if you have no other talents to fall back on. Anyways, if you stay to the end, you're a real one. Like, comment and subscribe, and until next time, I'll catch you in the next video.